Hi, in this presentation, we will go over the pre-approval or pre-qualification part of the loan process. Congratulations, you've made it past the first step. And while there are many things that we will need to do to be able to put together a loan package, we are well on our way. The first question you might have is, why all the paperwork? To answer that, we will have to take a step back and explain some things. All of the documents you provide will be combined into what we call a loan package. On the very top of the loan package is your loan application, or in mortgage terms, a 1003. This loan application, or 1003, is a summary of your complete financial status. Then, all the documents underneath are used to support what is written on the loan application. For instance, if we put that you make $100,000 a year on your loan application, we will need all the corresponding documents to prove that. Your loan package goes to a person called an underwriter. The underwriter's job is to decide whether or not to give you a mortgage loan. The underwriter makes this determination solely on what is found in the loan package. That is why all these documents we are requesting are so important. The underwriter looks very closely at four things: your credit, assets, rental or mortgage history, and your employment. Each one of these categories contains documents that we will need. With that in mind, let's look in detail at the required documents. The first section is credit. Here is the list of items that we will need for this section. We will need driver's licenses and social security cards from all those applying for the mortgage loan. These will need to be clear copies of both the front and back of each. A letter of explanation for inquiries will be needed. This will explain all inquiries made in regards to your credit in the last 90 days. This letter will explain all new credit that has been established that may not be reporting on your credit report yet. This is a required document for a mortgage loan. The reason this letter is needed is we need to make sure that all debts have been accounted for, even those that are not yet reporting on your credit. If you have had someone pull your credit, but you did not establish a new account, we will still need to explain this to the underwriter. You will receive a separate email from one of our loan processors with a fillable form to complete this letter. Then the last three are only if they are applicable to you. A letter of explanation for credit. If this is needed, you will receive a separate email explaining more about this. If you have been divorced, we will need a copy of your divorce papers. If you have been through a bankruptcy, we have a source that we are normally able to get a copy of the bankruptcy papers from. But if our source is unable to locate them, we will have to request a copy from your personal records. The next section is assets. Assets include your bank statements, 401k, or IRA. You may ask why these documents are needed. We will go over your bank statements to determine if you have enough funds to close. When we say funds to close, we mean a combination of the following: a 3.5% down payment, if applicable, closing costs, and money needed for reserves. We will need 2 months of bank statements. These will need to be a copy of the official end of the month bank statement. This is either the copy that is sent to you in the mail or an e-statement. Again, keyword being official. An official statement will include your name, current address, account number, and have numbered pages. Sometimes the copies received in the mail are on the front and back of a single page. We need both sides. If your bank statement indicates page 1 of 7, we will need all 7 pages, even if one of them is blank. The 2 months of bank statements should be the most recent ones you received and should be consecutive. For example, if it is June, we will need bank statements for May and April. You should be aware that from now until closing, we will ask for updated bank statements. A word of warning. Underwriters do not like multiple overdrafts on a bank statement. They see this as an inability to handle money, and therefore overdrafts can severely hurt your chances of getting a mortgage loan. If you have had multiple overdrafts in the last 2 months, this does not automatically disqualify you, but if you wish to obtain a mortgage loan, you must not have any more overdrafts from this point on. The underwriter is usually okay with a few overdrafts if we provide a letter to explain them, but it is when overdrafts appear to be reoccurring every month that the underwriter has a problem. One more word of warning. Large cash deposits over $100 in your account will have to be explained. It's not that our underwriters are particularly nosy. As part of their due diligence, underwriters want to make sure another credit account has not been opened. An unexplained deposit can indicate that a new loan has been opened, or there has been a cash advance. If this was the case, there may be strings attached to this newly deposited money. With a new loan or credit account, there will be a monthly payment associated with it. These new payments would then need to be included in your loan application. To make things go smoother, from this point on, ensure that you do not make any cash deposits. If you have a 401k or IRA, we will need to get a copy of your most current statement. Again, we will need to receive all pages. Usually, these statements come out every 3 months, so the most current one could be several months old. However, if while going through the loan process you receive a new one, it would be best to get us this updated copy. Now on to rental or mortgage history. We will need the name and number of your insurance agent to ensure that the new mortgage has the proper homeowner's insurance coverage. You will notice that in the email that we sent you, attached is a form for you to fill out that would give us this information. If you are looking to purchase a home and are currently renting from an individual, in some circumstances, we will also need to have canceled rent checks for the last 12 months. This is because if your credit score is below a certain number, our underwriters require a history of on-time rent payments. These canceled rent checks will need to be clear and show both the front and the back of the check. If you are living with a relative and are not currently paying rent, we need to see that you're saving an amount equivalent to a monthly house payment or that you have been paying off debt. If you rent from a property management company, we will be able to request rent information from them. If you are looking to purchase a new home but plan on keeping your old one, or you are refinancing, we will need a copy of your current mortgage statement. If you have a second mortgage, we will need a copy of that statement as well. We will need to receive all pages of the statements. We will also need a copy of the original note. When you closed on your current home, or refinance your current home last, the copy of the note will be in the closing documents that the title company gave you. If for some reason you do not have a copy of the note, you can call your current mortgage company and ask them to fax us a copy of the note to 801-627-3022. It usually takes 1 to 3 business days for them to fax this. We will also need a copy of your property tax statement. This will show the current annual amount of property taxes on your home. So now on to the last section, which is employment. We will need to get copies of the previous 2 years of tax returns. This is your 1040s for 2011 and 2012. We will need to have copies of all pages and all schedules that you filed. For example, Schedule A will show the items that have been written off for job-related expenses. This is shown on Schedule A in the section called 2106. If you have any of the following schedules, C, D, E, or F, we will also need these. Remember, these schedules will be viewed as added income or a liability. We will also need the last 2 years of your W-2s. If you filed jointly with a spouse and the spouse is not on the loan, we will still need their W-2s. We will also need the most recent consecutive 30 days worth of pay stubs. You should be aware that from now until closing, we will ask for updated pay stubs. With this in mind, you should also be aware that any drop in income from now until closing could jeopardize your chances of obtaining a mortgage loan. An example of this would be working less than 40 hours a week if you are a full-time worker. If you receive Social Security, we will need to get a copy of your awards letter. This is a letter you receive once a year. It is also known as a SSA 1099. Here is an example. Also, if you receive a pension, typically you will receive a letter at the beginning of the year stating how much you receive for the current year. We will need a copy of this letter. Now that we've been through all the required documents, we need to emphasize that if we do not receive all the required documents, we will be unable to give a pre-approval. These documents are the foundation to obtaining a mortgage loan. Once we receive all your documents, we will evaluate them and ensure that they meet requirements. Please do not be offended if we ask you to resend items that may be unclear or incomplete, or if we ask for additional items. We are just trying to put together the best loan package possible. What we do prior to issuing the pre-approval is request some additional third-party documents. These can include verification of employment and verification of rent. Once we receive all third-party documents, our processing department will then thoroughly go through your file. If all looks good, we can at that point in time give you a pre-approval. We are excited to start this process with you and sincerely appreciate your business. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call at 801-627-8888. Thanks again and have a wonderful day.